If a student is struggling, the answer must be more therapy minutes, right? Not necessarily. And I know that can sound strange coming from a therapist, but one of the biggest mistakes we make in school-based practice is assuming that more minutes actually means better therapy. Minutes are a tool, they are now not the outcome. Hi, I'm Tara Warwick, and today we're talking about one of those IEP topics that can make a room get very quiet very quickly: therapy minutes. Because minutes feel concrete. 30 minutes sounds like more support than 15. 60 sounds better than 30. But the real question isn't how many minutes can we give? The real question is what type and amount of service will actually improve this student's participation in school. When we write an IEP, our goal is not to accumulate therapy time. Our goal is to help the student access their education, participate in routines, make progress, and become as independent as possible. So I want us to stop treating minutes like the intervention. Minutes simply describe how much time we're allocating to a particular service model. The intervention is what happens during that time. And even more importantly, what happens when we're not there. Imagine a student who has difficulty starting written assignments. We could pull that student out for 30 minutes every week and practice handwriting, fine motor, activities, or whatever else we decide to target. But then the student goes back to class, still doesn't start the writing assignment. Did we solve the educational problem? Maybe not. What if instead I observe the classroom, I discover that the student doesn't understand how to organize a task, gets overwhelmed by a full page of writing, and waits for an adult to tell them exactly what to do? Now, my intervention might look very different. I might help the teacher chunk the assignments. I might create a visual startup routine. I might coach staff to use the same prompts. I might trial an accommodation. And suddenly the support is happening 5 days a week, not just during my 30-minute session. This is why school-based therapists need more than one tool in the toolbox. Direct pull-out therapy can absolutely be appropriate. Integrated or push-in services can also be appropriate. Consultation can be appropriate. Teacher or staff coaching can be appropriate. And a student may move between those models over time. That's not giving a student less therapy. That's matching the service to the student's actual need. Here's something I want you to think about. Even if I saw a student for 30 minutes every week, I am with that student for a tiny fraction of their school experience. I can have the greatest 30-minute session in the history of occupational therapy. I can have the perfect activity, the student can be engaged, I can document it beautifully. But if nothing changes during math, writing, lunch, transitions, PE, recess, or the rest of the classroom day, how much functional impact did I really create? School-based therapy has to live beyond the therapy session. That's why carryover matters so much. There's another piece we don't talk about enough. Every time we pull a student out of class, they are missing something. That doesn't mean we should never pull the students out. Sometimes a quieter, more controlled environment is exactly what a student needs to learn or practice a skill, but we should be intentional. If I'm increasing therapy from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, what is the student gaining and what are they missing? Are we creating better educational access, or are we accidentally taking the student away from the very environment where they need to participate? When I'm considering service time, I want to ask at least 3 questions. Number 1, what is the educationally relevant need? Number 2, what does this student need from the unique expertise of the therapist? And number 3, where and how can that expertise have the greatest impact? Then I use the data. If the student is progressing and the team can successfully carry out the strategies, maybe the service model changes. If the student isn't progressing, I don't just add minutes. I ask why. Is the intervention working? Is the goal wrong? Is the environment creating a barrier? Is the strategy not being carried over? Does the student actually need more specialized intervention? More minutes may not be the answer, but it shouldn't. More minutes might be the answer sometimes, right? but it shouldn't be our automatic go-to answer every time. Practicing at the top of our license means we're not just filling a schedule. We are making decisions. We're looking at function, participation, data, context, and the entire educational day. And sometimes the highest value thing I can do for a student isn't another 30-minute session. It may be 10 minutes with a teacher that changes what happens every day. So the next time someone says, can you increase the therapy minutes? Don't start with a number, start with the need. And what the outcome, and ask what outcome are we trying to change? What is preventing that outcome right now? And what service model gives us the best chance of creating meaningful change? Because more therapy minutes don't automatically mean better therapy. Better decisions create better therapy. If you're working in the schools and trying to make confident decisions about service delivery, subscribe to my channel. Also, look in the comments and you can see a free starter school-based therapy pack. Sign up for that to keep informed of everything that's going on. In the next video, I'm going to give you actual language you can use when you have to explain school-based therapy decision to parents and IEP teams, especially when someone is asking for more minutes or bringing an outside therapy recommendation. I'll see you there.